What's going on, y'all? This is your boy Cal coming to you with another video, and it's about 20 minutes, 30 minutes after the game was over. After the game is over, but, I had to bring you my thoughts on my Kansas City Chiefs losing their first game of the year to the Pittsburgh Steelers, 19-13. I mean, it took me a minute, about 10 of the minutes I was crying my eyes out, and now I'm just soaked up all my tears. Yeah, man. Chiefs lose 19-13 to the Steelers. A lot of this game was dominated by the Steelers defense and the running game of Le'Veon Bell. I mean, the second game in a row at Arrowhead Stadium. I mean, Le'Veon Bell must really love Kansas City and Arrowhead Stadium. Because, I mean, the last two games this dude's done had here, he has been phenomenal. 250 yards rushing. He had 170 in the playoff game victory in the divisional round last year. Excuse me, not last year, but in January. And then I think he had like 170 tonight, too. Scored a touchdown. Hell, that's probably the only difference from the playoff game for the Steelers, I should say, from the playoff game from to this game. They actually scored 2 touchdowns. If you remember in the playoff game, Boswell hit 6 field goals to win. But yeah, man, tough sledding for the Chiefs offense today. I mean, Steelers had a very, very good defensive game plan, and they executed it to the fullest, man. Kareem Hunt couldn't do anything in the run game. He got a couple good runs late, but mostly his damage was receiving. Alex Smith, pedestrian game. He didn't throw an interception. That's like the only good thing that really happened today. Oh man, everyone was praising Smith the first 5 games about how he's getting the ball more downfield. But I mean, twice. You missed DeMarcus Robinson twice, including both of them were wide open. One in the end zone on a Steelers botched coverage. I mean, both of them hurt really bad, but that one especially. I mean, because you basically was I forget what we was down 9 or 6 at the time, because that would have got us back in the game. Oh man, that one still hurts. I think that was when we were down 9, and then we go on to get down to the 2 or 3 yard line, and then go for 5 yard line and go for it on 4th and 2. Horrible play call, by the way. I hate empty formation at the goal line. You just screaming you gonna pass it, and the linebacker's right there spying on the quarterback just in case he wants to do a QB draw up the middle. I just hate empty set on 4th down that close to the goal line. I mean, even if they would have scored, I would still be like, I mean, a lot of people thought that was a catch by Harris. I mean, I thought it was a catch too. I mean, dude, he had possession of the ball. He took about 3 steps. But the thing is, what was that, Artie Burns, I think it was, still all over him. His arm was still kind of locked in with Harris, and then he turned over and looked like he had the interception and stuff like that. But, I mean, in a perfect world, that's a catch for Chiefs. In a perfect world for Chiefs fans, that's a catch and a touchdown, but, it's just wasn't our day. And I forgot when the Chiefs did get the touchdown to D'Anthony Thomas to cut it to 2 points. The next drive, I mean, they had one of the more flukiest plays ever. I mean, Philip Gaines misses an interception. It was 3rd down too. It was 3rd down. We're about to get him off the field. Roethlisberger throws it up to Antonio Brown. I mean, you could see it. If you watch it from a TV screen, you can see it. You probably see it in the crowd too. That scream pick, that screamed at interception, because he threw it short. He actually threw it short of Brown. Phil Gaines, Philip Gaines, man. I mean, this dude last year got torched all around, up and down last year, man. Terrence Mitchell had to come in and be the savior last year at the end of the season, making big plays. I mean, Phil Gaines, this was his moment, man. This was his moment to shut me and every single other person in Chiefs Kingdom that want his ass out. I want him gone last year. I don't know why the hell they even retained him. I want him gone last year. You know, like, bruh, come on, man. He had the interception in it. He couldn't even catch it. He had the interception right there in his grasp. He couldn't even put his hands on. The ball bounced off of his helmet, and then Sorensen was over there too. He was looking for the hit on Antonio Brown, but yet Gaines whiffs on the interception. Ball hits his helmet. Sorensen whiffs on the tackle, and the ball ends up in Antonio Brown's hands, and he races to the end zone for a touchdown. Come on. Yeah, like I said, that put them up by 9 for a second, and then Chiefs went down, failed again to get into the end zone. Got it. I think that was that next drive. That was the drive where Smith missed Robinson in the end zone. Then they settled for the field goal, which they should have did the drive before. You know, the drive when they went for it on 4-2, they should have settled for the field goal there. Then it wouldn't have been that easy. It might. Then I mean, you would just look. You get 2 field goals there, and it's a 3-point game. You know, you get 2 field goals, it's a 3-point game. You wouldn't have to actually try to score a touchdown to tie the game. You'd only have to have a field goal. But then, you know, Pittsburgh's last real drive, the Chiefs get a stop, and then Tyreek Hill has a big return to the Chiefs 40-yard line, past the Chiefs 40-yard line, but you know, big hit on the Chiefs sideline. He's probably going to be entering a protocol. He might not even play Thursday against the Raiders because that was a huge hard hit. He got sandwiched in between 2 defenders, and like I said, he probably won't play Thursday. That's gonna be a huge game for us, especially in the division, to keep our stranglehold on the AFC West division. Then the final Chiefs drive, Smith he gets 2 good passes. One of them was to Kelsey, set us up. Then I think he took 1 sack, and then he took 2 sacks. I'm sorry. Harrison was in there. I mean, this dude James Harrison. I mean, you remember for the playoff game where he got the holding penalty on Fisher. I mean, dude, he actually gets a sack, big sack, or 4th and 18, 4th and 17, 4th and 18. Hell, before that, Smith misses Demarcus Robinson wide open again. I mean, you missed this dude twice. The dude's like 6'4". His wingspan probably like 7 feet. And you still missed this guy high 2 times. You missed him twice. Come on, man. That is crazy. But, you know, people on Twitter are already calling for Pat Mahomes again. I mean, it's just one loss, man. It's just one freaking loss. And it wasn't even on Alex Smith. It was the defense. I mean, letting Le'Veon Bell just run roughshod over you, like, that is just total domination by that offensive line, man. I mean, I know with Chiefs we had trouble. We didn't have Morris. We didn't have the doctor, Duvernay Tardif in there. But that's no excuse, man. I mean, we were getting it done against pretty good competition without them. But I mean, that Houston team last week, that was a pretty good team to win. You know, that was a pretty good win, even without those guys. You know, as I'm saying, there's no excuse. I don't care about the injuries. There's no excuse. We should have came back and won that game. But that's on the defense. That was on the defense for giving all that up in the first three quarters. Of course, the big story coming into this game was one, that the Chiefs were undefeated. 2, Roethlisberger had the 5 interception game from last week against the Jags. Threw an interception to Peters in this game. Like I said, should have had another one on that Gaines play on a touchdown grab by Brown. That should have been another pick, but you know, other than that, Roethlisberger really didn't do too much. He had some good throws, though. He had some really good throws. That one play to McDonald at the 2-yard line, man, that was a great throw. Well, plus the Chiefs were, they were playing for the run, had a great play action fake, got the defense off guard. Like I said, started day was Le'Veon Bell, man. I mean, looking like himself, I hate it at the Chiefs' expense, but looking like himself, 170 yards, had a touchdown in the game. Steelers win. 72 Dolphins can pop their champagne. No more undefeated teams this year. Sad. I'm a Chiefs fan, diehard Chiefs fan. I definitely knew it was going to be tough coming in. I knew it was going to be tough. But, just to see the same thing over again, and they were talking about during the telecast, Jim Nantz and Tony Romo, about the defense that the Steelers were seeing. If it was 4-4, they was run. If there was like a 3-5, they would run against it. If it was a 4-4, they're passing the nickel and all that. They're running against it and all that stuff. Sutton's already changed it up to where he's not blitzing as much and playing back in coverage. But I just hate Justin Houston covering guys, because that was one of the big things on that big pass play that Roethlisberger had at McDonald. Houston was covering him. Houston is Houston's just not a cover linebacker to me. Maybe it's because I see him rush all the time. He's mostly rushing. Maybe that's why I say it. But come on, man. He's supposed to be rushing the passer. Hell, if say you have Sorensen covering McDonald on that play. I don't know if he was in the game or not. Or you have Ragland, or you have Pierre Louis in the game. You have Houston rushing Roethlisberger, because he took a little bit to throw it. It took him a little bit to find him. You could have had him for the sack. You could have him flustered in the pocket. You could have had a sack. It doesn't matter at this point. Game's over. Chiefs suffered the first loss. They fought to 5-1. Steelers go to 4-2. And then the Chiefs have to quickly bounce back and then be ready to go to Oakland on Thursday night. That's going to be another tough one. And they're coming off a tough loss too, so they're going to be fired up as well, and at home. So it's going to be a crazy stretch. I couldn't have imagined the Chiefs starting 5-1 at the time the season started. I really didn't pick them to win last week against the Texans, but they overcame that one, but they couldn't overcome this one. And the same old mistakes, those same old mistakes in big games, have reared their ugly head again with the Chiefs. Dan Le Batard just tweeted, this is how the Chiefs are going to lose a game at home off a bye in the playoffs. Basically saying just like they did last year with all the mistakes, the missed throws, the missed tackles by the defense, so many missed tackles against Bell. Not being able to capitalize. And I can't disagree with him, because I've been looking at the same thing for 25 years. Well, maybe not 25 years, but I only really started remembering Chiefs football in 2003. Ever since then, the 5 or 6 playoff games they've had since then, it's all been the same thing, except for that victory over the Texans. That's really not nothing to be proud about, but it's been the same. Obviously, except for that one game, it's been the same thing since then. Well, I can't say that, because the Colts game, I thought the game where we was at the Colts was it 2012, 2013. I thought we really had the wild card game. I thought we really had that in the bag. But the defense let down, the injuries piled up, and that's how we lost that game. But other than that, it's been the same thing though. Key mistakes by the Chiefs. Execution, no execution, not being able to execute, I should say, not being able to execute at key moments. That's described the Chiefs' postseason runs, since I remember. Like I said, that's back in 2003. Like I said, I mean, even talk about the '90s losses that we had under Marty Schottenheimer. But that's what I'm saying. I look at this season as a failure if the Chiefs don't get to the AFC Championship game. I'm serious. They don't have to win the Super Bowl, but I'm just saying they don't have to win the Super Bowl, but at least get the AFC Championship game because that's all I've seen. Division round, wild card, division round. That's it. That's all I've seen. I've seen the divisional round. I need to get past the divisional round and get to the AFC Championship. If you lose, then okay, that's fine. But at least you took a step forward. But that's all, man. I'm going to get off my soapbox, man, and I'm going to enjoy Game 2 of the NLCS and the Sunday night game. Thank you guys for watching. I wish y'all nothing but positive vibes only, and I'm see you on the next video.